Good evening, everyone. Welcome tonight to our first initial Sunday night conversation for 2024. My name is Pastor Mark Avery, pastor of Greater Works Ministries, Kennett Square, Pennsylvania. I am privileged and honored of the Lord to have with us tonight uh, First Lady Karen Fraser and Brother Matt Jones, who are going to help us in this wonderful discussion on tonight. I'm going to ask if you would do me a great big favor as you're coming in. Please press that share button with your family members or friends. Share this also with those respective groups that you are privileged to be a part of. We want to get the word out to as many as we possibly can, especially those Chester County areas and those in the Philadelphia area that are very well acquainted with both my panelists on tonight. But please do me a great big favor, as I'm doing right now, share this on those respective platforms and groups that you are a part of. We welcome you and we thank God for you. And we say Happy New Year to some of you for the very first time. I know we're pretty much past the midpoint of January, but if you're coming in for the first time and getting connected with us for the first time, we want to say happy 2024 to you and your family and loved ones. Hey, once again, let us know where you're watching and viewing from. We want to give acknowledgement to all of our guests. Sister Valerie, good evening. Grateful to see you this evening. Thank you for joining us on tonight. We're hoping and trusting that those uh, from different various churches will join us on tonight. We're streaming on different platforms tonight, so we're trying to expand our reach for those that are in the listening and viewing audiences. Please press that share button and let someone know that we're here. Tonight's subject is entitled Wellness Strategies for 2024. Wellness Strategies for 2024. We're excited to be here. We're excited to share what our guests are going to share in terms of their acumen and their proficiencies in the subject of wellness. Wellness is going to encompass so many different areas, so don't come into it with a predetermined thought process. All right, so let's keep our minds and hearts and ears open to what our wonderful panelists are going to share with us on tonight. My lovely wife is watching. God bless you, babe. Thank you for joining us. Danny Robinson is watching us tonight. God bless you. Share this with your family members and friends. I believe one of my guests has some device on because I'm getting a little bit feedback. So make sure your cell phones or devices are on mute or in silent mode. Thank you. All right, I think we got this. We got the matter addressed. It. All right, Anthony. God bless you. Thank you for joining us on tonight. Thank you for joining us on tonight. Once again, this is the first Sunday night conversation for this brand new year. And we are grateful and thankful to God for our guests and our panelists that have decided to take the time out of their busy schedules to join us. We're going to have a wonderful time, and we're asking as you're coming in, please press that share button on your respective pages and groups with your family members and friends. Tonight, I'm honored and privileged to have with me Brother Matt Jones and First Lady Karen Fraser. I'm going to introduce them formally right now and ask them to tell us just a little bit about themselves and what their area of expertise may be in terms of wellness. So, Matthew, would you kick us off, and then First Lady Fraser, you can follow behind. Just tell us a little bit about yourselves and your areas of proficiency in terms of wellness. Matthew, go
Yes.
first.
So, good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me, Mark. Again, as you said, my name is Matthew Jones. I'm a registered dietitian, um, also a certified personal trainer and certified massage therapist. So, I've been a dietitian since 2009. Um, a re- a fr- I'm from Pennsylvania. I grew up in Avondale, Pennsylvania. Was always involved in sports, so that kind of led me down the health and new wellness path. Graduated from Westchester University and then immediately started in the field of nutrition and dietetics. Um, Most of my work is in long term care and acute care, like in hospital type settings. As of recently, I just joined a private practice out in Downingtown, Pennsylvania. Also able to, see patients and accept insurance and private pay pretty much nationwide. So health and wellness has always been my passion, and helping others is something that I thoroughly enjoy. On the side, I also coach soccer So always, staying active, staying in that, like you said, health and wellness field, and just, trying to help others, better their health and improve their future.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you, Matthew. First Lady Fraser.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Pastor Avery, for this panel. I think it's a great thing that you're doing, and nice to meet you. Also, Mark, is it? I'm sorry. Anyway, well,
Matthew.
Matthew. See, I got it. I got one of
I'm Mark.
I know you're Mark, and but we had another Mark. Okay, Matthew.
Same number of letters. We met. Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And I'm still in the Word. I'm still in the Word. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. And I am Karen Fraser. I'm a certified natural health practitioner, along with a biblical counselor and a few other hats. But I love health and wellness. I've been in the natural wellness field for over 20 years, and my passion is to just help people live a better life physically, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, because it's all connected. It's all connected, and if one is off balance, it causes just a ripple effect with the whole being. So it's a long story how I got into health and wellness, so I won't even get into that because we'll probably be here for quite some time. But it was definitely divinely ordered how I got into this field.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, I'm privileged and grateful to have both of you with us on tonight, and I'm sure we're going to have a wonderful discussion and just help to empower our audience to understand what tools and resources are available to them to help them to live, as Jesus said, an abundant life. Wellness is encompasses so many different areas. Before we get started, I just want to just have a quick icebreaker, and audience, if you want to chime in, you can as well. But just want to ask this specifically to First Lady Fraser and Brother Matt. I see others are joining us. Good evening, Donna Brown Foster. Good evening, Juanita Brown. Good evening, Sister Tonda Hawkins. God bless you. Oh, I see somebody that knows Matt quite well. Darlene, good friend of mine. Darlene Jenkins, that's Matt's mother. Grateful to have my friend Darlene with us on tonight as well. Haven't seen her in some time as well. Hey, I have a question. We're talking about wellness, and we're talking about, living an abundant life and living a fulfilling life, living an enjoyable life. I have to ask this question. This is for both of you. When it comes to grits, sugar or butter?
The question of the day. Would you, Karen? You want to go? Oh, she put the zipper on.
No. We're not doing that.
So for me, I would have to say sugar. As even as a dietitian, I would definitely have to say sugar. Yes.
Matt.
I would say put a little olive oil and a little maple syrup, pure maple syrup. Delicious.
Whoa. First, oh, wait a minute. You about to shut down the internet. Did you say olive oil and maple syrup? Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be an interesting conversation.
That's a new one for me, but hey, yeah. I'm willing to try it.
Well, there's a passage of scripture where one brother said, "Thou almost persuadest me." Not me, this is not happening.
Okay, put some earth balance in there.
Okay. Woo! Okay. Very, like they used to say, well, who was that? Hogan's Heroes show. It's very, very interesting. Okay. This is going to be good. All right. When we talk about wellness, as you saw on my flyer, I had a shopping cart, because I think part of wellness starts with what we put in our bodies, what we eat. I'm going to ask this question, and I'm going to propose this to you, First Lady Fraser, then Matt, you come behind her. When it comes to food, what's better, for us? Organic or just the typical fruits and vegetables when it comes to certain foods? Should we go organic or should we stick with what's traditional? First Lady Fraser and then Brother Matt.
Yeah, well, organic is better because you have less of the, of course, harmful pesticides and other things that are in there. But a lot of times it is hard to find, or some people feel it's not in their budget. Even though with that, I would say, we spend what we want to spend on. So, um, but yes, as far as organic, it's better if you can get organic. But even with the organic now, they're saying that, because of the way they spray and the way pesticides are distributed, sometimes it's even on the organic. So you have to, either way, you have to wash it. I tell people wash your stuff really good with little baking soda and water to help get rid of some of the chemicals. But yeah.
Okay, okay, Brother Matt.
And I would definitely agree with Karen. The organic is definitely as far as if we're talking the pesticides and things that they put on the food, it's definitely better per se. I was just listening to or reading an article too that they said with the organic, there's still natural pesticides that they use sometimes that might not have as much chemicals in it. But because of the way that the natural pesticides are made, they sometimes have to use a little bit more. And we're talking, parts per billion as far as, the organic or the pesticides. But as Karen said, sometimes organic isn't always available to some of our, patients and clients. And then the price point. We're at a time now where, grocery shopping and things isn't what it used to be in the past. So that's things we need to consider. But definitely, if the pesticides is one thing that, people want to keep in mind. And then also, how are you preparing the food? Like, are you going to be using like the skin when you're cooking it? Are you peeling it off? As Karen said, you're always, most people, washing the food before you use it. But then again, in the preparation, if you're using potatoes or carrots, if you're, taking that skin off, you're also removing, for the most part, some of those pesticides that were sprayed on there. So I would definitely say, give it some thought. Price point is probably one of those major things you want to consider. But, just as long as you're getting those, fruits and vegetables in is a positive thing.
Gotcha. So the bottom line is to, if you can, make that effort. But even if you can, the bottom line is to make sure that, per chance, there are some pesticides that could have been sprayed on the food or vegetables, even if it is organic, just for safety's sake, to do that.
Yeah,
Now,
I agree. Yes.
now, First Lady Fraser, you didn't just say water, but I think you said baking soda, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they say baking soda actually helps to strip away some of those chemicals. So just a little, like you may have a bowl of water, you put maybe a tablespoon of baking soda, mix it in there, and then wash your vegetables with that. Yeah, they say that it helps to strip away some of the chemicals. Unfortunately, because some of the chemicals are actually in the soil, so therefore the chemicals are not only on the surface of the fruits
Oh,
and vegetables, it's
okay.
also in. So some of it you cannot get rid of. But like I was telling a group yesterday, we have a lot of chemicals and toxins in our environment, whether it's our food, our air, our water. There's a lot of toxic chemicals. So we want to try to restrict or reduce the chemical intake as much as possible that we can control. So that's why I tell people, it's not only what you eat, but even what you put on your skin, the products that you use to clean your house, the air fresheners that you use, in your home. So all of those have chemicals. So if we can try to use more natural things as much as possible, it will help to reduce some of that chemical intake, in our bodies. And then there's other things you can do to help cleanse your body as well. But,
Okay.
I'm gonna go on
Okay.
a rabbit trail in a moment.
Well, it's very, very interesting. I'm gaining some information as we go forth here. We're talking in terms. You said something about preparation. Both of you mentioned this from our community. My my family, my mom's family was from the South, and they did a lot of cooking with lard, um, Crisco, things along that nature. What would you recommend, both of you, from your perspective, in terms of preparation for, say, cooking fruits? Well, not fruits, but vegetables and meats. Margarine or butter? Which is better?
Are those the only two choices?
No, I'm just out of those two. I'm just personally, I use a lot of olive oil because
Hmm.
I'm a fan of
Me as well. Yes.
I'm a fan of olive oil, and I've done a little reading. I'm not versed as well as you are, but I do understand some Mediterranean diets are more healthier for us. So I made a decision several years ago to steer away from some things. But okay, let's go back to the question. Maybe I'll rephrase it. What's better in terms of preparation if we had choices? Butter, margarine, olive oil. What would you recommend out of those three?
Uh, I mean, for me, I would definitely, or us as a family, we usually steer more towards butter. Butter definitely has a little bit more saturated fat than margarine. Margarine has less of that um, saturated fat, as I was saying, but we don't use it in large amounts. And a lot of times we will use unsalted butter, so that takes away some of the as you would call negative effects. But for the most part, we like to use either butter or olive oil is what we prefer.
Okay. First Lady Fraser?
Yeah, I like well, it depends on the cooking. If you're doing high heat cooking, studies have shown that grapeseed oil can tolerate heat better than a lot of the other oils, grapeseed oil and also coconut oil. Olive oil is good, but not for really high extreme heat. The different studies have shown. Now, if you're sauteing, doing some light sauteing, olive oil is good. But if you're doing, like I said, high heat, wherein maybe you're, let's say you're frying fish or something that needs really high heat, the olive oil I found, and that's what we use a lot at the house, olive oil, coconut oil, very good. It can tolerate heat really well. Yeah.
Let me ask you this question first, Lady Fraser, and you can chime in if you want to, Matt. You mentioned
Hmm.
about frying fish. Um, Peanut oil, vegetable oil, not a good alternative for fish fry, or a healthier alternative?
No, only because a lot of those oils are hydrogenated, and it's the hydrogenated oils that cause a problem as far as the clogged arteries and different things like that. So you want to try to stay away from the hydrogenated. As a matter of fact, even with like Mark, Matt, I use butter also on some when I'm cooking certain things. But a really good, a lot of people use margarine. They think margarine is better, but a lot of the margarines are hydrogenated. So
Hmm.
a really good margarine I found though is called, honey, go get that margarine. I use it all the time and forgot it that quickly. But it's a really good margarine because it's not hydrogenated. Even when you cook with it, you'll notice that it melts really easily, and it's almost like water, but it's very good for earth balance. It's called earth balance.
Yes, yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah,
Yep.
earth balance. Yeah. So that's another good one too. I should call them so they can pay me for this endorsement, but yeah.
Here's a question that this is from the members of our church. I use olive oil mostly or butter. What about canola oil?
Canola oil, the studies, if you do, I like to do a lot of research, especially like research over from Europe and other countries too. But canola oil is actually, uh, it's not a good oil to use. I don't want to say a lot about it, but it's not a good oil to use when cooking. And if you do some research on it, you'll see why. But it's not.
Okay.
It's better to use either the olive oil or grapeseed or coconut than the canola.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's been a lot of studies about canola oil and how, there's, some negative health effects, associated with using it in high amounts, and then, kind of linking it back to heart health and heart disease. Um, so, like I said, if you look in our cabinet, I would say 90% of the time for pretty much anything, even before this we went live, I put some green beans in the oven and just threw some olive oil and a little bit of seasoning on top, and that pretty much does the job. I know sometimes in our community we'd like to do a lot of, like you said, frying and using a lot of oils and lards and things like that. But I would lean to say that's kind of put us in the situations that we're in as far as health disparities. So, we have to kind of think outside the box when it comes to preparation. And, it's, it's not that hard to, change the way you do things, and mix up the way you're cooking different and preparing different fishes and dishes. A lot of times, even with the air fryers nowadays, and the pan frying, like Karen was saying, with avocado oil, or I know peanut oil has definitely become popular for like turkey frying, but I wouldn't use that every day, or I wouldn't even use that too often. But I've definitely fried a turkey or two with it, and it definitely, makes the taste buds happy.
So the bottom line is, if something necessarily makes the taste buds happy, it doesn't necessarily do well for the other parts of our bodies. Then.
Right, right.
No, yeah, because you got to think of what they're replacing it with. Even the way that foods are labeled nowadays, whether it's low fat or low sugar, what are they replacing it with as far as the ingredients go that are mimicking those tastes or those flavors that may not be natural, or maybe added chemicals or preservatives that may not be doing the best. Like Karen was saying, whether it's organic or just as close to the earth as possible when we're cooking or preparing our food is going to benefit us the best.
It's interesting you say that. I was thinking about how my grandmother and even my mom's generation, the food they ate was much more closer to the earth than what we eat. Much of what
Hmm.
we eat is pumped up with so much stuff that we have to really be very careful about what we ingest and what we digest. So
Hmm.
this has been very good. I have another question relative to food, then I want to go to another area. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for your comments and your suggestions. And looking here, I'm seeing some good comments. When it comes to vegetables, certain vegetables, is it better that we steam them, boil them? What would be your recommendations? Let's say string beans. I'll just throw a couple out to you. Steam them, boil them. What would be your recommendation?
Yeah,
Uh,
steaming is good. Yeah, steaming is good. I like to with string beans. What I usually do is saute some onions and a little olive oil, and then put the string beans in there and saute them like that. Add a little water, a little Bragg's amino acid, and you have a delicious dish for. But as far as vegetables, it's very important though to make sure every day, and this is what I tell people, to try to make sure every day you eat a nice raw salad. Because whenever you're cooking the foods, you're killing some of the live enzymes. Well, you're killing the live enzymes. And it's the live enzymes in the foods that we eat that feed the cell. And a lot of times, like you said earlier, Pastor Avery, we're feeding the palate, we're what it tastes good, so we're feeding the palate, but we forget it's only in your mouth for a couple of seconds. It's
mhm.
going to be in your body for hours. So we want to make sure we're feeding the foundation of who we are, which is our cell, and the cells get nourishment from raw. So we want to eat as much as possible. Like when I have a client, I try to get them to incorporate a salad at least every day, once a day.
No. I'm not. I'm laughing because my late mother would get on me when I was a teenager, even to my young adult years. Mark, you need to eat salad. I'm like, oh, mom, salads are for girls. And my wife, She is a salad queen. She will fix something up. Matter of fact, she has a wonderful business on the side, and she could take chicken, salmon, and incorporate it with a nice wholesome salad. So I know she'll be watching and listening to this. So I guess I will be eating more salad, and I don't mind it. I really I've become a fan of it because she's made it more enjoyable for me. But
Mhm.
it's interesting you said that I'm thinking in terms of live foods, something fresh
Yeah,
as well.
yeah. And
Um,
I want to say this, and I'm going to be quiet for a while so Matthew can talk.
No,
But
you're fine.
when I first got involved with natural health, it was because I got sick. This was over 30 years ago, and the doctors told me I had hypoglycemia. They told me I would have it for life, and that maybe later it would turn into diabetes. And I asked the doctor, I asked him, well, what can I do? Because I knew nothing about health at that time. I thought eating healthy was eating canned green beans. I knew nothing about health. And he told me no, it's nothing you can do. Just make sure you drink milk when you eat cake. So I said, okay, but that didn't sit right with me, even though I knew nothing about health. I said that didn't sit right. So I went on a 3-day fast, and I was believing God to just zap me and heal me instantaneously. But instead of zapping me and healing me like I thought, the Lord blessed me to meet an herbalist and a nutritionist, and it was really something because neither of these individuals knew each other, but the Lord put them in my life at the same time. But to make a long story short, the nutritionist taught me how to eat. And what he did was he had me eating raw vegetables with every meal. So 3 times a day, it was a particular salad I ate for breakfast, and then a particular salad I ate for lunch and dinner. But by doing that, and then the herbalist taught me how to use herbs to heal and cleanse the body. In 3 months, I had no more symptoms of hypoglycemia. 3 months. And I still don't. And that's been over 30 years. But that taught me, I said that showed me that there was a connection between proper eating and the body healing, because a lot of times we look for God to do everything for us when he puts the principles in his word. And if we follow those principles, we're going to reap the benefits. We're going, so, yep.
no, I'm
Yeah, and I
glad
would
you.
have to.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead,
No,
man.
I was gonna say I 100% agree as far as I've definitely seen the other side of what Karen was talking about as far as people that are taking medication for diabetes and um, certain conditions where they just never come off it and they continue to, there's certain, whether it's the way that what their living means or whatever, they may not be able to eat raw fruits and vegetables. But I've heard so many stories of people coming off medication or healing their symptoms because they're eating, like you said, the earth food or God's food. Because with the raw fruits and vegetables, I'm just thinking that, as your previous question, you're not losing any nutrients, any minerals, anything from the food when you're eating it in its raw form. So sometimes when we're cooking, especially like boiling vegetables, we may lose a bit of those nutrients in the water. So there have been people that um, there's beliefs that people that save the water and use it in different ways to repurpose it in their cooking, as far as soups and stuff go. Um, but I definitely feel that eating, um, we keep repeating, as close to the earth or God's food as possible, and trying to avoid the medicines and things like that if we can. If that is the treatment that your doctor or so has you on for the meantime, but try to get with somebody who's going to teach you again how to eat properly and how to nourish your body, because like Karen said, it's only in your mouth for a couple seconds. And I forget what the thing was about how long you're chewing food and the food on your taste buds. I think it's like 3 seconds. And that satisfies your craving. Just thinking like, oh, say it was a cupcake, like you were craving a cupcake. If your taste buds have that on your cupcake, or you get that on your taste buds for 2 or 3 seconds, that kind of satisfies your craving. Not saying, but that just shows like how little taste really is Obviously, we want to enjoy our food. I don't want to say you don't want to enjoy your food, but it being in your body for a longer period of time than it being in your mouth is very important.
Good, good. Here's a question. Thoughts on low carb keto? Anyone want to tackle this? We're going to segue to our next point. Low carb and keto. Any thoughts?
So for me, keto is kind of a double-edged sword. It was more, Karen could probably speak on this as a natural health practitioner, but keto was made for, try to, from what I was understanding, to reduce like epilepsy symptoms and things like that. People that do keto on their own are very rarely going to fall into a state of ketosis, which is when your blood sugars are low. So, and that can be dangerous if you're not doing it properly or you're not monitoring it properly. Because if your blood sugars go low, there are some severe symptoms that can put you in the hospital or even worse, death. But there are benefits for certain people if you're under the right supervision. Low carb for me is, we really don't preach low carb because carbs are the body's energy source. Your body is going to use that as the quickest source of energy that your body needs, especially for me teaching athletes. It's kind of, you're re-educating them because a lot of them have been told to avoid carbs because it's going to make them gain weight. When in fact, an athlete, a lot of times, if you look at dietitians on social media or studies, scientific studies, we're feeding athletes, quick carbohydrate foods, sugar, like gummy bears, crackers, apple sauces, little juices before competition, because an hour, 30, 40 minutes, an hour before competition, you want them to get something in that your body is going to burn quickly. Something like a high protein diet or something that's high in fiber is going to be rough on your body, especially if you're in activity. But for the regular layperson, carbs are also important because your body needs that, again, for energy and, other body processes.
Good, good. You want to speak to that first, Lady Fraser?
Yeah, and I agree with what Matthew said. And everything in nature has fat, carbs, and protein. Everything in nature. So that tells you, okay, God said it's important that we have all three, but you have to be balanced. And that's one of the problems I think with a lot of these diet fads. They're not balanced. People, they want to, a lot of people do it because they want to lose weight. But if you're losing weight quickly and doing it in an imbalanced way, that what happens? You gain the weight right back. But if you learn lifestyle, learn proper eating, how to incorporate these good healthy foods in your body, in the right way, you'll notice that the weight stays off because it becomes a lifestyle. It's not just a quick fix fad like these different diets.
Excellent, excellent. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we've covered to the halfway point. Thank you so much for your comments and your questions thus far. Wanted to say to the audience, someone asked me, was I rooting for the Bills? This is not a Bills jersey that I'm wearing. This is a Sixers jersey that I'm wearing. Football season ended for me last week. Basketball season is now in motion. All right, so I just want to set the record straight. I am not a Buffalo Bills fan. All right, so we're certainly grateful and thankful for all the comments and questions. Now I want to segue to another area that doesn't get much attention: vitamins and supplements. Many people don't take them. Many people shy away from them. What would be your recommendation? And you can break it down in terms of age groups, or I think now I take several multivitamins in the course of a day. I just make sure, because I recognize I'm not privileged to eat close to the earth like my grandparents and my parents did. So I try to make certain that I get certain supplements in my body. So having said that, what vitamins or what supplements would you recommend that one would take on a daily basis, just to make sure they have that good balance? Matt, you go first, and then First Lady Fraser follow up.
Excuse me. I would definitely say a good multivitamin is important. It's something that we would probably or commonly recommend in our practices as a dietitian. A lot of times there's not, unless there's not a medical need for certain supplements. As you get older, like vitamin D is important because you might not be getting it as much, especially in the winter months because we're not getting as much sunlight. You get that from the sun. So I do see a lot of, like I said, a lot of my practices in long-term care. So I see a lot of my residents on vitamin D or another form of vitamin D. There's multiple different forms. Vitamin C or zinc, sometimes it depending on their medical condition or if they have any skin issues. But a good multivitamin for the most part will do it. Um, Again, zinc or something if you're sick. Again, Karen probably has a little bit more experience in that than me. But if you're getting a good balanced diet, you're probably for the most part going to get a lot of your vitamins and minerals that you need in a day. Like Karen was saying, if you get a good salad in with a lot of um, what we like to say in dietitians is eat the rainbow. So try to get as many different colors in as possible in a meal. So if you think of the typical American diet, a lot of it's like beige color foods or yellow type foods that are, like we were saying before, fried or, French fries, buns, things like that, that don't really hold a lot of nutrients. And if you look at the charts or if you, do a quick search or talk to a doctor, each different color or each different vegetable has different antioxidants or properties to it that you're going to get. A blueberry is a little bit different than an apple, which is different from a pineapple or a yellow pepper. So trying to get those different colors in is going to help you get as much of those vitamins and minerals in as possible. And then it also kind of, let's be honest, some of the vitamins and minerals and the way that the marketing or label, sometimes you might not be getting exactly what's on the label or what they're promoting. So try to get it in its whole form, and you could essentially we're not you don't have to go out and spend a fortune on vitamins and minerals if you're eating a good diet.
Excellent, excellent.
Yeah, and I agree pretty much with what Matt said. One thing about vitamins people sometimes miss is that you have your synthetic vitamins and then you have your organic or vitamins that come from plant. So when you're buying vitamins, you want to read the labels and make sure there's some plants in the ingredients because some vitamins, like I said, are synthetic and our bodies are living. And if you have a live or organism and you're putting in synthetic vitamins that don't have any life source, you're just like one doctor said, you're just making expensive urine, because it's not doing anything for your
Mm-hmm.
body, it's not being absorbed by the cell. The cell needs those enzymes, and a lot of the vitamins, the sophisticated processing that they do, uh, they're able to um, have encapsulate vitamins and minerals that have some of the enzymes still there. So you want to make sure it's a plant source vitamin and mineral. Another thing I would say on that is the way they mass produce and plants now. Years ago they used to dig deep into the ground to plant a seed, and that seed got all this nourishment from the ground. But now they pretty much surface because of the quickness and everything is quick
Mm-hmm.
now with the commercial planting. They don't plant it as deep into the ground. So they say that one carrot, for instance, from one carrot from years ago, it would take almost a pound of carrots to have the same nourishment as one carrot had from years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so therefore, it behooves us to get a good plant source, like Matthew said, multivitamin, and then there's other vitamins because most of us are deficient of vitamin D, so vitamin D is a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Vitamin C, especially now. Oh my goodness, we need vitamin C, and we need a lot of it. I let me do a disclaimer before I say what I'm going to say next. I love doctors. I think that doctors are, the knowledge that God has given man to be able to help us is incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing we have to remember, though, now because of what happened in the early 1900s, the medical community, especially in the United States, the pharmaceutical industry rules it all. They make the
Hmm.
curriculum for the medical colleges. They're the ones that have the money and the power. So we are bugs. I'm looking at some of the comments.
She's on the
Um,
prayer list. Trust me, she's on my prayer list now.
She
For that
said, "What's
comment
up,
I'm
alone.
Doc?"
praying for her too. I'm praying. Um, so what I'm saying is, you'll notice now there's a lot of functional doctors rising up. I don't know if you noticed. There's a lot of functional doctors because a lot of doctors are realizing that the way they've been taught for all this time, it's not really helping. So they're getting more back to the natural way and getting back into the vitamins, getting back to the natural way of eating, learning more about getting out of the box and learning more about how to utilize what God has given us in nature to help our bodies. So yeah, getting ready to go up into a rabbit trail again. But yeah, so vitamins are important, but make sure it's the right kind.
Wow. So you just brought something to my attention: synthetic versus plant based. You hear a lot about plant based foods. I didn't realize that even applied to vitamins as well.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at some vitamins, you'll see an L at the end, or
Okay.
you'll see a DL. DL means it's synthetic. If you see the L, is
DL.
DL. DL. Yeah. The L is that it's not synthetic. So you want to make sure, but like I said, the main thing is look at the label, read the ingredients. I tell people learn to read what you're eating. Don't just take something in, but look at the ingredients of vitamins and see if you see any plants in there. Any plants in the ingredients. And that'll tell you. You don't have to know about the DL and all, but just look at the ingredients. Where did it come from?
Yeah, I just
Mm.
sorry, I just
Yeah, go
heard
ahead.
about the DL as well. And it's not keeping it on the DL, but I read, like I said, we did a study, or we, as healthcare professionals, we have to do continuing education credits to keep our licenses active. And those are when, like she said, if you look at the label, that's what we try to teach people, is to learn how to read the label. And it takes time. And it's not that you have to sit in the store for, forever to go through a label, but as just familiar yourself with what a label is, what it's teaching you, but it does, indicate that there's a synthetic, form of that vitamin, um, whether it's vitamin E or something, whatever it's labeled. So, like we were saying, try to get as close, get those natural foods, whether it's vitamin C, like she said, during these winter months, if you can get it from citrus fruits, or bell peppers, things like that. Vitamin D, again, there's a supplement form if you're trying to get a plant-based supplement, but you can get that. Vitamin D is also available in fatty fish, or like fortified dairy. Um, you can get your calcium from certain dairy products, leafy greens, which is definitely popular in our community. So that's one thing our community is, definitely good for, is cooking from, natural sources, and using these whole plant options, and, whole food options, where we're going to get those vitamins and minerals from.
Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. Oh, I'm trying to get to my next point, but something else is coming up in my mind about dairy products. Milk. Um, there's a lot of different options now: soy milk, coconut milk, almond milk. I'm a fan of almond milk. Um, what would you guys recommend? What would you two recommend in terms of milk? Because, like I said, I've been a fan of almond milk for the last several years. I don't traditionally now drink regular milk anymore. When I was drinking milk, it was 2%. Then I transitioned from 2% to almond milk. So, what would be your take on the benefits of soy milk, almond milk, coconut milk. First Lady Fraser, then Matt.
Well, yeah, I'm a fan of almond milk too. You just have to watch the sugar. You know, they have the
Mm-hmm.
now, they have the ones that don't have sugar now that we usually buy the almond milk without sugar. Oat milk is very good. Oat milk is good. Coconut, yeah, all of those are good options. You just have to be careful not to overdo it with any of them because they do have some oil in there. So you sunflower oil, most of them. There are some now that don't have the sunflower oil, but they're very, very expensive. So you just have to be careful not to overdo it. And, you know, as far as cow's milk, I tell people, well, you know, I know what the ADA says, but you got to do your research. And a lot of the way things are processed now, it's, you know, and like one of the doctors, and I'll say this in one of my classes, he said that, you know, if you look at the animal kingdom, humans are the only ones that continue to drink milk after they're weaned. And he
Mm-hmm.
said, you know, you look at a cow and how strong a cow is and strong their bones are, but they don't drink milk after once they're weaned. Where do they get their calcium from? From greens. So if we're eating a good wholesome meal with raw dark green leafy vegetables, you're getting your calcium. You know, so the milk that we drink is more so for fun. It's not so much to get the calcium, but like I said, the almond milk and the oat milk, those are some that we yeah, we drink.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, I would definitely. I mean, right now in our fridge we have almond milk and dairy and regular dairy milk, but I would say 90% of the time the dairy milk goes bad. Um, my daughter, she's a little younger, so she likes the like the it's the silk almond milk, but it's also like vanilla. So it does have a little bit of additional sugar in it. So you want to be careful and not drink that as your everyday source. But it definitely depends on personal preference, depending on what you're trying to get. I've also kind of been of the same thinking of Karen of um, cow's milk isn't really meant for us anymore. I know that was, how people were brought up, and that was the easiest way. It does have, the most protein in it, but we can get that from other sources. And a lot of times, in my experiences, I'm coming across a lot of people who are having, you know, issues with whether it's lactose intolerance or issues being related to lactose. So, you choose different, avenues to get your milks from. So, like I said, the almond milk is pretty good. I also like oat milk just because, it's naturally sweet and it's a good option for anybody that has like nut allergies. Almond milk is definitely a lot lower in calories, but it's definitely lower by a good amount in protein. So you're not going to get as much protein in it. But you could, get that or introduce the protein back some other way, or find some type of, as we mentioned before, natural or plant-based like protein powder if you're deficient in getting your protein from your food sources.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. Oh, that helps a lot. I didn't realize. I've seen oat milk and they just passed it by. And so I've had soy milk. It was okay, but almond, I'm learning even just to be careful of my choice of selection with that. Uh, you both made a comment about reading the labels. Something I came across lately, and maybe you two can help me with this one. Um, I was a certain cereals that I get. I like whole grains and those types of cereals. I grew up Captain Crunch fan, sugar corn pops. They even took the sugar off those titles of those cereals, I guess, for marketing purposes and for health conscious sake. But I recently was getting ready to get Honey Bunches of Oats, and I looked at the label, and I'm inquisitive when I see stuff or read stuff, and I saw on the label something called BHT has been added. And I said, hmm. So I said, hold up, let me look at this. And I came across something that caused me to pump my brakes. And I'm like, BHT? Well, some countries don't even allow them to put this preservatives in food, but here we are putting it on our shelves. So, can one of you or both of you speak to that? Is that something we need to be cautious about? Something we should be versed about? Just tackle that.
Well, did you?
Go
I mean,
ahead.
I could go real quick. I just know, the for BHT, I was just looking in the scientific name up. It's butylated hydroxytoluene. So it's basically like an antioxidant. So it kind of acts similar to um, like a vitamin E per se. So it kind of helps the damaging effects of like oxygen exposure. So you're mentioning the cereal, so you're thinking like shelf stable food. So it's going to prevent it from going rancid. A lot of things in it that have it are like potato flakes or dry breakfast cereals, things that are like packaged in like airproof packaging and stuff. So it's definitely there to help the food go prevent it from going rancid and things. But a lot of studies and things that have shown that taking that in large amounts can have a lot of negative health effects, whether it's like cancer or whether it's reproductive toxicity. I've seen studies that have shown you like some endocrine disruption or things like that, and then like lung or skin irritation. But again, that's in like large amounts. But I would definitely try to steer clear of that. Not saying that we can't shop the middle aisles, because again, we're trying to consider all different types of population and communities that we're serving. But um, again, that goes back to what are we putting in our body, and what is the main goal. And just like the pharmaceutical industry is, I see it ruling the medical world right now. The food industry and the politics in the food world are just as bad. So trying to keep foods on the shelf as long as possible and make it appealing to people. So yeah, it's definitely it has its plus and minuses. I would probably say a little bit more minuses than pluses. But again, we're talking in large amounts if you're consuming that. So
Thank you. Thank you. First Lady?
Yeah, BHT is, if a lot of the research says that it's been linked to tumors and, the C. So it's not a good thing, if you really look at it. And I know they say, try to, be careful how you consume it and how much. But when you think about how many things that you're eating that have it in there, so you may eat one thing that has some in it, and you say, okay, I'm not consuming much, but then you eat something else. Oh, and then you're eating something else, and then you put lotions on you that have BHT, and you understand. So we have all these different things that have it in there, and that so your body is accumulating all of this toxicity, and it is toxic. It is very toxic. So we just have to be careful. And there's so many choices now. There's so many healthy choices on the market, and even in like no name brand healthy cereals. Like you go to
mhm.
the market and you can find store name brand healthier cereals. So it's just a matter of, making the better choice. Like they say, the best choice out of the two evils, but not that everything is evil, but looking at being a more conscientious consumer instead of just taking what they give you. Remember, we have a choice, and that's what we as people have to remember. We're free. We have a choice. We have to make better choices, and if we do, we'll reap the benefits. I've seen it. I've seen people with, I mean, some major diseases, and when they start making healthier choices, how their body just began to thrive. So it can be done. We just have to make better choices.
Here's a question to both of you. One of our members. You mentioned a lot about vegetables and raw foods, which she says she loves. Do you both think vegan is the best option?
um, I don't know about the best option. I think it's a personal preference. I have a lot of family members that are vegan or vegetarian is different than vegan. So I think it definitely depends on personal preference, whether you're, you know, for the what do I want to say, the care or betterment of animals and things like that. People have different beliefs and things like that. But you have to be careful with going vegetarian or vegan, because not be careful, but you just have to be mindful that you're going to be losing certain what I call it, getting certain, whether it's proteins or fats or vitamins and minerals from your animal based sources, and you can get that again from plant based sources just as well. Or that's when you really want to look at um, supplementing with a good natural or plant based supplement or protein powder or things like that. So, I think it definitely depends on personal preference, but again, just make sure that you're meeting your daily needs for protein, your carbohydrates, and your fats, the three main macronutrients.
First Lady?
Yeah, yeah, and studies have shown that as people who are vegan, and like Matthew said, it's a matter of personal preference. But as people get older, a lot of the people who chose that type of diet, they there's certain there's certain challenges that they begin to have. So the protein is important. Like I tell people, hey, after the flood, God told them to eat certain meat proteins, and there was a reason for that. So yeah, but it's a matter of preference. But in everything, you have to notice your body. Pay
Hmm.
attention to your body. Pay attention to what's going on with your body, and then make the right choice from there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, this has been phenomenal tonight. We've covered a lot of territory. I'm going to say this: there will be a part two because we've just discussed food and vitamins. We didn't even touch exercise and some other areas of wellness because, as I stated, wellness encompasses so many different areas. So, if you would like, I'm going to ask for audience participation. We'll do a quick poll. We have a few moments left. If you would like a part two by these awesome panelists, First Lady Fraser and Brother Matt, please put in the comment area part two. Put in the comment area if you want a part two. Want to give you all space and opportunity to. I'm glad you joined in as well. Oh, yeah. Yes, 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 yes. This is good. This is good. Absolutely. Thank you, Darlene. I think so too. They both did a phenomenal job. Absolutely. Okay, okay. Well, the audience has given me a resounding state of approval that we need to do. We're going to do a part two. All right. So many areas to wellness that we're going to cover. And I think I walked away with some good information on tonight. I'm going to make some immediate changes. I'm going to incorporate some existing changes by way of First Lady Fraser talking about a salad with every meal. My wife is going to be happy with that one.
Hmm. Eating the rainbow, like we said. Yep.
There you go. There you go. Nature Skittles versus the manufactured ones.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. And getting our exercise, just to touch base real quick, just trying to get, a little bit of exercise a day or some type of activity.
Matthew, take tacos. That's where I was going to go. Then part number two.
Leave them
You,
with a
I don't want.
cliffhanger.
I don't. I don't want to give it all away.
That's right. That's right.
But this has been phenomenal. I appreciate you both so much for the information you shared and just the way that you shared it. And this has been phenomenal. Uh, First Lady Fraser and Brother Matt, thank you so much for joining us on tonight. Matthew, would you give us parting remarks, and then First Lady Fraser, you give us closing remarks, and then close us out with prayer.
So again, I just wanted to thank everybody for tuning in on this, Sunday night at this hour. Really appreciate it. Health isn't a one size fits all type of prescription. I think you have to listen to your body and do what's best for you, what's best for your finances, what's best for your family. But again, reach out and ask questions if you need to, or just like we said, do a little bit of research on your own, do some label reading. But again, try to, as we say, shop the perimeter of the grocery store, get some of those natural whole foods, and then don't be afraid to go in the middle aisles as well. Those are just as important, getting our grains and our like you said, our oils and things like that. But again, just be conscientious or conscious of what we're putting in our body and what our end goal is. We're trying to, live a long and healthy and abundant life. So let's not look for the immediate fix, and let's, try to heal our bodies as natural as possible. I think is the best way to end tonight.
Excellent. Matthew, as First Lady Fraser is getting ready to give her remarks, I want you to put in the comment area how people can connect with you, your business, if there's a website or there's a contact number, an email where they can connect with you. Just put that in the comment area so those in the listening audience, viewing audience can do so. And First Lady Fraser, you can prepare to do so as well. You can give your closing remarks and then close us out with prayer.
Yeah, and I would just say that you remember your body's like a machine, and just like our cars, if the manufacturer of that car says put in the second grade of gas, we're going to do that, because we want to take care of that car. We want that car to last. And hey, we have a manufacturer of our bodies, the Lord, and in His Word there are principles. And if we follow the principles that the manufacturer put in there, we're going to thrive. We're going to thrive. So your body is God's temple. Take care of it. Amen. Take care of it. So, Father, we thank you for this time. We thank you for your wisdom, oh God. We thank you for your knowledge, your understanding. Thank you for your love for your people, God, and how you're helping us and you're guiding us by your Spirit. Help us, Father, to continue to learn, oh God, to continue to grow in grace and in your knowledge, and to apply, Father, what we learn from your word and from your principles and from your teachings. Thank you for Pastor Mark Avery, God. Continue to bless him and prosper him. Continue to have your way in his life. Thank you for Matthew, Lord God. Continue to bless him in his business and all that he's doing. And bless all those who have participated, even in the listening audience. We give you praise in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I'm putting your information in right now, Matthew, in the comment area. So those that may miss it can capture it. Put that up there. First Lady Fraser, put yours in the comment area as well.
So I don't see a comment area on here as far as the. Oh, I see it. Right. Yeah, I see it on the side there. Okay.
Nicole says, grateful that the church is connecting with counselors and dietitians, therapists and preachers for a healthy, abundant life. Yeah, it's about holistic ministry.
Amen.
That's what it's all about. That's exactly what it's all about. All right. Do you see it, First Lady? I'll tell you what.
There it is.
Do you see it there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the.
I got it now. I'm gonna put it in now. Put it in for you. HealingLeadsForYou.com, correct?
Correct.
All right. Here we go. All right. Once again, there will be a part 2. We'll let you know in the future when that will be coming. For next month, we're doing something special next month. Next month is Black History Month. You all have heard of the movie Hidden Figures. Found out there's a family. That really spearheaded the Brown versus Board of Education court case years ago. And there was a court case that was I guess you could say, the launching pad for that particular case. Bringing that family on next month. The subject is entitled Now You Know. We're going to be blessed by several members of the Briggs family who are going to be with us next month. I'll give you the date and information soon. Once again, plan to watch my Facebook page for more information. Once again, Matthew, thank you so much, man, for your participation and your cogent remarks and just wonderful expertise on tonight. First Lady Fraser, thank you so much for just your time and efforts and your sharing. And I believe this was a God ordained moment for you to be here with us, both of you,
Yes.
for this season, for this time. We talk about people going forth into 2024 for goals. We can't be effective with what you're wanting to do if your body's not right, if your
Correct.
spirit's not right, if your heart's not right, if your attitude's not right. So we want to go forth and be everything that God has purposed and called for us to live this abundant life fully in this brand new year. My name is Pastor Mark Avery. Thank you once again for joining us on tonight. Pay close attention to my page for the next installment of Sunday Night Conversation. Next month will be the subject is Now You Know. Please, you don't want to miss it. We're going to highlight the Briggs family next month. I'm going to ask our audience, please pray for us that God will continue to use us for His glory, His honor, His praise. Those our panelists, please hang around, and we're going to rock out momentarily. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, LinkedIn, YouTube, and those of you that are watching for the Greater Pennsylvania State Council Facebook page. Thank you for joining us tonight as well. God bless you.